This episode of HTM Tech is brought to you by Rogue Energy. Rogue Energy offers a wide range of products including energy drinks and dietary supplements containing zero sugar, 0 to 5 calories, B vitamins, gluten-free, soy-free, and 100% vegan. Rogue Energy products are a great alternative to those corner store energy drinks that are loaded with sugar and cause you to crash soon after. Head over to rogueenergy.com where viewers of HTM Tech can get 10% off any order placed. Not just your first order, but any time you order. Just use offer code HTM Tech at the checkout to get your discount on one of the hottest energy drink brands on the market. Hey, don't take our word for it. Try it for yourself today.
Hey guys, Joe the Tech Guy back here with another episode this week. This is number 4 that I've done this week. There's been quite a bit going on that I've wanted to talk about, so that's why I'm doing more content here. For those of you new to the channel, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit like and subscribe so that you can get notified every time I put out new content. For those of you returning, thank you so much for stopping by again. So earlier this morning, actually just about 15 minutes or so ago, as I'm sitting down to record this, of course we had our Apple event today. This is May 7th. And some cool stuff got announced today. Some stuff was kind of left out, but I'm going to kind of get to all that. So they started off by talking about Apple Vision Pro and how that's really kind of cool and all that kind of stuff. I think that's pretty... It's interesting, but I think overall it's been pretty underwhelming, especially for the average consumer out there. I don't think that has a whole lot of interest in it. Mainly just because it's so far out of the price range of most people. And I'm as Apple-y as they get, and that'll never be a product that I purchase because it's not, literally not in my price range, and it doesn't offer any kind of use cases that are relevant to me, so it's not something I'll ever check out. I'll check out as like a demo at an Apple store just to say that I've tried it, but it is not a product that I don't see myself ever owning. Now, next, or actually like the first thing they kind of got, the actual thing they got to was the iPad Air. Some cool innovations to the iPad Air. So they are going away from just having the one size, the 11-inch, to also a 13-inch. So we're getting 2 different models of the iPad Air, which is quite interesting. They are doing a really smart thing, in my opinion, and moving the camera from the top of the iPad, so I don't have my iPad with me, but going from having the camera up here to the side, because most people, when they go on a call or recording video, are holding the iPad horizontally. They've done the research and found that out, so they are moving that camera to the side of it. They're doing it with the Pro as well. They are also going to be having an M2 chip in that iPad Air, making it a lot more powerful and all that kind of good stuff. And I think also another cool addition, starting configuration is going to have 128 gigabytes instead of the 64 for the base model. So you're going to have quite a bit more storage. I'm still a firm believer, though, that you don't need a ton of on-device storage because so much can be streamed and kept in the cloud and stored on external devices and all that kind of good stuff. I still think that 64 is probably a good storage amount for most people. 128 is going to give you a little bit of that extra, little bit of peace of mind that you're going to be able to put quite a bit on this and still have some space to spare. Then the big deal for the event, the iPad Pros. Still with the 11 and 13-inch configuration. Thankfully, they didn't go crazy and do like a 15-inch iPad Pros. I think that'd be a little kind of unrealistic. You could use that to like cut off somebody's head, honestly. It would be kind of ridiculous. They did something kind of crazy with it as well. It is being touted as the thinnest Apple product ever, the 11-inch being just 5.1 millimeters thin. I'm kind of on the fence about this. I don't think it's a product that really needed to get any thinner because it's already really super, super thin. My question with this would be, is it going to be durable? Right, that's my main concern with it going so thin. Is it going to be able to hold up to the stresses? You're not going to want to twist or bend this thing. I would be terrified to do that. So we'll see how that kind of goes. A really cool innovation with it though, OLED. So it is going to be the first iPad with an OLED screen. But wait, there's more. It's actually, they're introducing a feature that's called tandem OLED. So it's actually two OLED panels fused together in that super thin form factor, which is quite impressive. That is going to be a gorgeous looking screen, and really looking forward to actually potentially seeing that in person. They're also going to take the nano coating that they've had on their big studio displays to make it kind of less reflective. I think that's a pretty cool feature as well. And the other kind of crazy thing that they did is the previous iPad Pro generation had the M2s in it. So one would think, the next logical step would be the M3 on the iPad Pros. Nope. They went full on gas pedal to the floor and went with the M4 for these babies. And I think that was probably a smart move, given with that double OLED panel and all that kind of stuff, and the chip with how many billions of transistors. I've lost track of how many. It's going to need that horsepower. But also brings up a point that I mentioned with Jargo when we talked about what we were expecting to see from this event a little while ago, is that all of this engineering and innovation is really, really cool. So the tech nerd in me is overwhelmed and happy. The downside to this, though, is there's not a whole lot that's available on this device to really take advantage of that horsepower, that capability. They did also introduce new versions of Logic Pro and Final Cut for the iPad. That's pretty cool and can kind of push the hardware there a little bit, but there's still not a whole lot there to really justify it, I think, for most people. I think most people are going to probably gravitate more towards that iPad Air, even at 13 inches, something that is kind of intriguing to me. A couple of things that they introduced, a new Magic Keyboard, given that this is a thinner iPad Pro. Of course, they're going to do a new Magic Keyboard, much thinner. It's going to actually have like a function row on the top of it, some more capability out of that. It's going to have an improved touchpad on it to make it combined with the iPad that a lot of people are probably going to replace their laptop with this kind of thing. Then there was more as well. They introduced a new Apple Pencil, which I had definitely predicted. It is the iPad Pencil Pro. It is going to be compatible with the new iPad Pros and the new iPad Air, which I think is very, very smart. If they would have made just an iPad Pro accessory, I think that would have been kind of a bummer. But at least this will be, if you go and get a new iPad this year, you're going to be able to use that new Apple Pencil if you want as well. So I think that is a really smart move. And also with the iPad, getting that 128 gig standard option, I think, is a really good option there as well. The surprise of, I kind of expected a good portion of that. The double OLED panel on that, I think, is a kind of a genuine surprise for me. The even more shocking thing for me is that they didn't talk about the regular iPad or iPad mini at all. They mentioned that the iPad 10th generation is going to stay in the product line. That'll probably be the base level iPad. Is dropping in price a little bit. And then they didn't say anything about a new base level iPad or new iPad mini. Not a word mentioned of it. They just mentioned, we have all these in the product line, but didn't mention about new ones. I thought that was interesting, and I think a bit of a missed opportunity. If they really want to try something really radically new, they could have done in that base level iPad. They chose not to. They could still potentially do it next month at WWDC, but I think at that event we're mainly going to see talking about software and the potential of AI stuff with Apple, which we're all kind of expecting. So yeah, that's kind of what happened today. Like I said, a mixture of some really cool stuff. I think some neat innovations with the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. Some even cooler stuff with the iPad Pencil. I forgot to mention, there's new capabilities with it. You can, there are sensors in it to detect, like if you squeeze it, it brings up your little options on the screen. You can double tap to bring up certain options as well, to do certain things. You can rotate it to really kind of fine-tune how to draw and move things around. There's some really cool innovations with that, and I like that they made it available for both new iPads. And like I said, just sad that they didn't do anything with the base level iPad and the iPad mini. I fear that the iPad mini's days may be numbered. I hope I am wrong with that, and maybe before the end of the year they may even just silently release a new product for that, because the iPad mini is a really popular form factor, and honestly it's probably the perfect iPad for most people that just want a good iPad. They want something big and clunky. Then there's the other people who do want that big screen and whatnot. So I think important to kind of cater to everybody there. So we'll see for the end of the year. I'm crossing my fingers that they'll do at least an iPad mini for those people who really, really do love it. All right, guys. Well, just a quick video here today, because I've been doing a lot of content this week, so I don't want to do anything too crazy or too long here today. But an interesting iPad event with just under an hour. I said I was hoping that they were going to go a little bit longer and kind of do that one more thing kind of thing, but they decided not to this time, which is cool. I mean, they can do whatever they want. All right, guys. That about wraps up here for this time. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one where we talk about how tech matters. HTM Tech is brought to you by Microplay, located at 265 King George Road in Brantford, Ontario, Canada, for all of your video game and collectible needs.